All right, let's dive into a story about a boy, a girl, and a car. Now, I want you to forget everything you think you know about high school romance. This story is about a 1958 Plymouth Fury named Christine, and it is a love affair that just spirals into an absolute horrifying disaster.
And our narrator, a guy named Dennis, he just nails it right from the get-go. He calls it a love triangle, but the players here aren't what you'd think. It's a boy named Arnie, a girl named Leigh, and the car, Christine. And Dennis makes it really clear. Christine was Arnie's first and really his only true love. And that obsession, well, that's why this whole thing ends in total tragedy.
So, before the car ever even rolls into the picture, you gotta understand the friendship at the core of this. It's between two really different people, Arnie Cunningham and our narrator, Dennis Gilder. And their dynamic? It's a total high school classic. You've got the protector and the outcast.
I mean, you couldn't find two more different guys. Dennis was the popular football captain, the guy everybody looked up to. And Arnie? Arnie was the definition of an outcast. Dennis even says he had a tomato pizza face from his acne. Now, Arnie was a genius with anything mechanical, but socially, he was just a magnet for bullies. And Dennis? Well, Dennis was his shield. He was pretty much the only reason Arnie made it through high school in one piece.
But here's the thing about Arnie. He wasn't just some sad sack victim. He had this really sharp, kind of playful mind. Dennis remembers that Arnie was the friend you could always count on, especially on a rainy day. Because yeah, he was always home. He was lonely, sure, but he was also super inventive and a genuinely great friend who taught Dennis everything from chess to how to build an ant farm. And then it happens. The moment that changes absolutely everything. This is where the real love story kicks in. Not with a girl, but with a beat-up old car. For Arnie, seeing this 1958 Plymouth Fury for the very first time was, no exaggeration, love at first sight.
Picture this. They're just driving home from a summer job, and all of a sudden, Arnie screams for Dennis to stop the car. He's seen it. Sitting there on some overgrown lawn is this total heap of junk. To Dennis, it's just trash, but to Arnie, it's destiny.
To really get why Arnie is so obsessed, you have to realize what he's looking at. Objectively, this car was a complete and utter disaster. The windshield was a spiderweb of cracks, the body was all rusted and dented, the seats were torn to shreds with stuffing spilling out, and there was a literal pool of oil under the engine. It was a wreck. But Arnie didn't see any of that. He was just captivated.
And just when you think it can't get any weirder, the owner of the car, this really creepy old man named Roland LeBay, gives the car a name. He says, "Her name is Christine. I always called her that." And that's it. That's the moment the car stops being an it and becomes a her. It becomes a character in this whole tragedy.
So of course, this obsession immediately sparks a huge fight. Arnie is about to stage his first real, full-blown rebellion against his parents. They're these academics who are completely horrified that their son wants to waste his money on this rusted-out piece of junk.
And the change in Arnie is it's instant and it's shocking. His parents try to shut the whole thing down, but Arnie, this kid who has been totally passive his entire life, just explodes. He yells this at them. It's the first time he's not asking for permission. He's telling them exactly how it's going to be. And here's the thing. It's how he gets his way. He doesn't just argue. He goes straight for blackmail. He lays down this ruthless ultimatum. He knows their biggest dream for him is a good university, right? So he threatens to drop all his college prep classes and just enroll in vocational school. He basically takes their biggest ambition for him and turns it into a weapon. And you know what? It works. They totally cave. So as Arnie starts pouring every ounce of himself into Christine, the car starts to change him in these really deep, dark ways. He gets this new confidence, sure, but it's twisted. It's laced with aggression, with cruelty, and with this growing need to push away everyone who actually cares about him. He ends up parking Christine at this pretty rough place called Darnell's Garage, and he spends all his time and all his money there fixing her up. That garage becomes his entire world. But it's also where he has to deal with constant harassment from a gang of bullies, led by this guy Buddy Repperton. But the old Arnie would have run away. This new Arnie, he endures it, all for Christine. And eventually it escalates to violence. Repperton and his buddies start messing with the car, and Arnie just snaps. He talks about this moment where Repperton smashes one of Christine's headlights, and Arnie, he doesn't even hesitate. He fights back. He gets beaten pretty badly for it, but the really crucial thing here is that he fought back, not for himself, for her.
I mean, look at this. The change is it's staggering when you see it laid out like this. The passive, timid kid becomes defiant and aggressive. The kid who used to just take the bullying now fights back, and violently. And his loneliness, which used to just be his situation, becomes a fortress that he builds himself, by choice, pushing away the very people like Dennis who are trying to help him.
Okay, so up to this point, you could chalk this all up to a really dark story about obsession, right? A psychological drama. But right here, this is where the story takes a hard right turn into pure supernatural horror. We find out that Christine isn't just a car, she's alive, and she is an absolute monster.
So after Buddy Repperton's gang doesn't just beat up Arnie but completely destroys Christine, they start dying. One by one, they turn up dead in what the police are calling bizarre car accidents. Now the cops suspect Arnie, of course, but he always has a perfect alibi. Because it's not him. It's Christine. She's hunting them down and getting her own revenge.
And if there was any doubt left, it gets completely erased when Dennis himself has this terrifying run-in with the car. He actually witnesses Christine on her own, trying to kill someone close to Arnie. His description is simple, direct, and absolutely chilling. It confirms what we've started to fear. This car is a thinking, malevolent force.
And that leaves us with this one final, chilling question that sits right at the heart of this whole story. Was Arnie just a lonely, bullied kid who stumbled upon some supernatural evil that corrupted him? Or was there always a darkness inside of him, a rage just waiting for a vehicle like Christine to come along and give it power? Did Arnie find a monster, or did the monster simply find him?